Dutchman. Wake up in the morning feeling like Kiss 92's Big Show.
We welcome the one and only gorgeous Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Morning, Jerry.
Good morning, all.
Good morning. I clap for you. Good morning, Jerry. Today,
Good morning.
we are going to talk about relationships.
Dr. Jerry, can I just say before we even start,
Yes.
you are so chirpy. You look like you're a ray of positive energy,
Right?
Just so positive.
Well, Jerry, now you got two of them on the show.
So what? What did I do?
You don't even have to take deep breaths, like breathe in, breathe out to like feel relaxed.
And at ease, yeah.
You just look at her.
Yeah.
True.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Catch me at night, I'm flat out. I'm a morning person.
Okay, so we're talking about relationships. What type of relationships?
Yeah, it was very interesting. So if you see the title is actually Attachment Styles in Relationship. And this was what Cheyenne actually brought up yesterday. Dr. Jerry, can we talk about attachment styles? So I said, okay. But it was interesting because I was like, why are so many young people asking me about attachment styles? So me being me, the boring old me, so I did attachment styles, and attachment styles are from the developmental psychology. So I put my title, at first it was Best Parenting Practices. So I was with my colleague, and I was like, okay, I've got the title for tomorrow already. He was like, okay, what's the title? Best Parenting Practices. He said, what has attachment got to do with best parenting practices? I got a shock of my life. I was like, are we on a different wavelength here? Because I was looking at a parent-child relationship, which is actually attachment theory. Then he said, no, we're looking at attachment in a relationship, as in a boy-girl relationship. I was like, oh my gosh. So I actually want to check with Cheyenne what she actually meant by attachment styles.
Since she doesn't have a child, I think you're
definitely.
right. Boy-girl
I
relationship.
was talking about the relationship one, but I also know that it's impacted by your attachment style in childhood.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, I've got a very, very pressing question to ask. Suddenly, I'm very triggered by this thought, right? Attachment style in relationships, is that like love language? Is that the same thing?
Well, love language came much later. So attachment theory, that's why I said it's very traditional. It's very, steeped in so it's from the past. It's a theoretical framework.
Okay.
So love languages is a little bit newer, a little bit younger, and it resonates with many people, and it's easy to administer. So that's why, a lot of people pick it up. It's applicable. So when you talk about attachment theory, it's almost like an academic study of human behavior. So it's something a little bit harder for people to grasp as a concept.
So we're talking about relationship styles, and we're talking about like girlfriend, boyfriend, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does it mean the younger generation right now, they are like, they're not so willing to commit 100%.
They're not as
like
attached to each other.
Yeah, so that's why they have different relationship styles.
I actually am not quite sure. So that's why I wanted to ask Cheyenne what she had in mind when she actually wanted to look at this topic. So Cheyenne, help us with it, your perspective, because we're all older than you.
No, I think within me and my friends and like my peers, we're all very interested in like our relationships in the context of like avoidance and like anxious attachment and like disorganized attachment, because I guess it's like a form of classification, and my generation likes to classify
Right.
into groups.
Okay.
So it's like,
classifications.
are we having these issues in our relationship because we're like avoidant and anxious, the kind of thing? Yeah, so that's kind of what.
So Cheyenne, do you guys believe in like exclusive relationships?
Yes.
Okay.
She did not say that with full
Just
conviction,
checking.
huh? No, but she did not say that with full conviction.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on The Big Show TV. Okay, we are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
It's so interesting. This younger generation nowadays are looking at like classification, but are they unwilling to commit? I think they are trying to figure out what commitment mean.
Really?
So
I think they classify because by classifying, you're giving yourself an out.
Commitment is such a...
The young always look for an out.
Commitment is such a big, scary word. If I belong to Gen Z, it would be
It's
scary.
scary.
It's like commitment.
Glenn, what was
you know?
that term you used just now? When you asked Cheyenne, do you believe in what again?
Exclusive
Exclusive
relationships.
What is an exclusive relationship then? What is it supposed to be? Just one woman, one man, for life?
So funny that your hand is in my square. Everybody, can you adjust his camera a little bit?
Hey, okay.
No.
Now we can see Kyle.
I should move further
No,
away.
this is good. This is
Okay,
good.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's great.
My hand is still in your square. I'll just not use this hand. Okay, stop it, bro.
Two of you, my goodness, go get a room.
We were talking about exclusivity.
Yeah.
Is that it? Does that mean
So
not
they want-
crossing into boundaries?
yeah, they want exclusive squares, you know.
Yeah.
Ayo, oh my goodness. Yes, but the different levels nowadays just really is mind-boggling. There's skinship, there's situationship, there's exclusive. It's not just friends with benefits anymore,
Yeah.
you know.
But
I've heard of
there's so many-
situationship.
I've heard of friends with benefits.
I mean, that's what we know.
Yeah, that's what we know.
Friends with benefit. I mean, the term that is.
The term, yeah.
Yeah. But
Is
it's
it
no
healthy
longer
enough? Friends with benefits, Jerry.
We are not discussing about that today. We're
Okay.
discussing about
So I'm just wondering,
attachment.
what do psychologists think? Whether
Yeah.
it's healthy or not?
Is it healthy?
Right.
I mean, to each his own, right? And there are so many people who have different perspectives and different beliefs and different opinions. I think what Cheyenne wants to look at is really, or the young people. So when I was doing it, and I had the younger team, chime in, and they are looking at it. If we are uncomfortable in the relationship, what does it mean? I think it's as pure as that, so attachment. Okay, so when we see the word attachment, if we go around the room, what comes to mind? What comes to your mind? What is associated with the word attachment?
Responsibility.
Please. Responsibility.
Attachment.
Straight
I
away,
actually
think
wanted
What do you say
to-
again?
responsibility.
Responsibility. Commitment.
Come on,
Yeah.
Kyle.
Somehow in my mind's eye, when you say attachment, I see myself hugging my mom. It's just a very motherly word to me. Attachment, being attached to, and maybe that's why I am with my wife, because I feel that same kind of love from her as well. Very very motherly kind of love.
Right. Cheyenne?
Comfort.
Comfort.
But yeah, nice. It's interesting because when I wanted to do attachment styles, I was thinking of Carl today because you're gonna have a new baby, or you already have a new
No,
baby.
not yet.
No, yeah, coming
Yeah,
soon.
on the way.
Coming, right? So last week you were asking about, some parenting. So I was thinking of you when I was preparing, but then I completely went.
That's okay. Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
Another direction. No
Not many
worries,
people
but
think about
yes.
me, so thank you. I appreciate. I feel special.
Don't say that.
Oh dear. Yeah, but attachment is a special emotional relationship that involves an exchange, I must exchange, okay, of comfort, care, pleasure. So there is that, I like what Carl drew out, visual, hugging mom. And most of the time it's you hugging mom and mom hugging back. There's always a return.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you think about it, right? Responsibility, I think responsibility is what we have been told. So if we're just looking at the emotional aspect and not the functionality, then we can come to the function of a relationship later on. And commitment also. So commitment to what? I think that's very important. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's an emotional relationship. I think the crucial part is the word emotional, and that's where it trips many people over.
But it's like you said, it's an exchange, right? It's give and receive.
Correct.
Okay, we're going back on it.
When we come back, I've got something to say about that.
Okay. Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room this morning, and we're talking about different types of relationships.
So attachment in relationships, you said it's give and receive. But we've got to understand sometimes that the giving is not necessarily... Two people don't give the same way.
Right. Sometimes it's not reciprocated.
No, it's reciprocated, but two people don't give the same way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. And in order for the attachment to work, that's the first thing you have to recognize. I feel.
So many things come into play in a relationship where it's not just the attachment, it's the personality, it's the circumstances, it's the resources. So it's not just singular. We are really just extracting one particular area here. But you're right. There's always a give and take. And when we use the phrase give and take, you need to allow yourself to let go of certain parts or certain areas and not be so fixated or rigid in a relationship. So for this, we are really looking at people who are complaining about like, oh, I feel unworthy in a relationship. I feel like I'm struggling, or I feel I'm very obsessed in a relationship. So you've heard of those that are very obsessed in a relationship. Or I don't feel anything in this relationship, and you wonder why the person is in that relationship. Or extreme anxiety when they're in a relationship. So we're looking at these people who are struggling when they are with a partner.
So what advice do you have for people like that who are struggling, although they have a partner? Is it better to just cut ties?
I knew Glenn would say
It's true,
that.
right?
Yeah.
If they end up in hospital.
very
Waste time for what? Don't waste time.
It's
Yeah.
like people say, you cut your losses.
Exactly.
So I like Cheyenne's style. She wants us to all understand our behavior first before trying to cut people off, Yeah.
So what attachment styles are there then that we need to, acknowledge for us to understand?
Okay. So there is secure attachment. So 4 different types of attachment styles. Secure attachment, there is anxious or ambivalent attachment, avoidant, dismissive attachment, and disorganized attachment. So there are 4 different types. The first one is the secure attachment. Secure attachment doesn't mean there's no trouble at all, okay? It just means that I can rely on you, you can rely on me, I can be independent, but I also want to spend time with you. So there's a lot of, if we look at it, a lot of balance.
Okay.
It's not trying to encroach or trying to hold anyone very, very tightly.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on The Big Show TV. I know Angel is tuning in right now and watching us from KL. It is 8:15.
Hi,
Is she doing
Angel.
watching us?
Hi,
Hello, Angel. What is it? She's saying something.
She misses us. Self-praise is international disgrace.
Oh, I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah, that's right. Self-praise is an international disgrace. So 80s.
Last time I heard that was in primary school.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be just about right then.
Primary school, 90s for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Self-praise. But of course you don't believe that, right, Jerry? Self-praise is an international disgrace. It's okay to self-praise, right? Huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and I
no
learn
one's-
from the best. Glenn does it best.
No one's praising you. Praise yourself.
Praise
lah.
yourself. What the hell?
Yeah, praise yourself at the show.
I want to pick up on something you said, Jerry. You want to be independent, but I want to spend time with you. You need to manage that situation really carefully. Because I feel, and because I've had this done to me, and this is my interpretation of it is, you want to do your own thing, but when you want me, I need to be there.
Why the...
It can be misinterpreted that way if it's not handled properly.
Yeah lah, if the communication is not
Yeah,
right.
it has to be handled properly. Otherwise, the person on the receiving end is, when you want me, you want me. When you want to be on your own,
Chuck
you want
me
to be
aside.
on.
No
Yeah.
lah, I say this from experience of
Yeah, okay.
all the relationships and all that. If it comes to that, something is wrong
Something's
with the
wrong,
relationship.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't be so hard and complicated.
Complicated.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's look at the other attachment styles first. Then maybe you can find your answers. Let's look at the avoidant dismissive attachment. So the avoidant dismissive, they'll say things like, I don't need you. I can deal with things on my own. So they are overly independent. So they don't want or don't need. So they say, I don't need the relationship, to help me be a better person. I can be on my own. I can be independent. I don't want to depend on anyone. So that's the language that you hear. So they struggle with closeness. They struggle with intimacy because they are fiercely independent. Now being independent is not wrong, but in this situation, when they are in a relationship and they do that hurts the other person. So they're not
it does.
permitting the other person to be in their space. So they
Right.
lock themselves. No, they don't lock themselves. They lock their emotions away in the relationship.
So,
Yeah, so
cut
the
off,
other person-
cut off the relationship with people like that straight away, right?
Maybe not,
Okay.
We also need to know where it comes from, right? Because it may have been in the past where they have invested a lot and they have been hurt quite a bit. And therefore they are unwilling to open up. They have learned to be extremely independent, and be quite content on their own, so that they don't need to emotionally rely on the other person. So an avoidant dismissive person doesn't mean that they don't love the other person or cannot connect with the other person. They just lock up their emotions.
Right, but
And
could
say,
it be-
I don't need to rely on you.
Could it be like someone, as in like in a relationship, like maybe a husband and wife, and then let's say the husband is like that or the wife is like that? Is that possible? Oh wow, then that's so difficult then.
Yep. So either party, so it doesn't need to be both parties that are avoidant dismissive. It can just be one party. So
Right.
it could be one person that has is a secure person and the other person being avoidant person. So you can have many different sort of characters coming together and forming a relationship.
So hard.
I'm struggling with
so
this.
hard, right?
Very difficult to anticipate what your spouse is thinking if that's the case.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Andy.
I'm struggling with this. If you're avoidant dismissive, can you still be in love?
Exactly, you see. I think what Jerry is saying, you can still be in love and that person still loves you, but unfortunately, it's the person's character. That's what you're saying, right, Jerry? It's
Yes.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, let me look at, and let me give you a little bit of an example. So some of the guys have come in, this over the years, and they say, my wife has asked me to come for therapy, and say, why? My wife wants to divorce me because they say I'm not emotionally available for them, for the kids, and especially for the spouse. With the children, it's slightly different. So with the spouse, what the spouse complains or what the wife complains is that when you look at this person, this guy is very, very successful. They are very capable. But they don't confide with the wife. They would go about doing their own things.
Yep.
I provide for the family, and that's good enough. No one can really see all the other emotions except anger, because it will just come out as anger. The wife feels very emotionally neglected. Because I can't confide in you, and you don't confide in me. So what is this relationship about?
Right.
So it looks something like that.
Yeah, they're probably not. They're probably not even getting intimate together already. It's usually the case. What?
Yeah.
Would they have problems with intimacy? People like this?
Sexless marriages. Oh, we need to talk about that in the weeks to come, because I've been seeing many articles actually in the papers about that. Okay, but anyway, that's another story altogether. But I think it all stems from that one. The husband, successful, perhaps maybe believes that, like, he's providing for the family already. So, what else do you want from me, right? I mean, there are other things out there that excite me a little bit
Do
more.
you think it's a male ego thing? Like, if I'm so successful, why should I be vulnerable to you, to my spouse?
It's not just a gender issue, so it's not just peculiar to the male gender. It can be also the female that is avoidant, or dismissive, because they feel the emotions are not valid, not right. I should not be expressing it. It should not come into the relationship. I don't want to show you my vulnerability. So it is possible.
Okay. Stand by. We're going to go back on air for a traffic update. Good morning, Singapore, and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is the one and only, the award-winning psychologist, the best psychologist in the world, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
That's a bit over the top, but thank you very much.
Okay.
The one and only, the only one.
The only psychologist in the world worth speaking to, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
That's false information.
This
fake
is
news.
exclusive. This is very exclusive, right?
This is called good marketing.
Okay, we're talking about sexless marriages this morning.
I know.
No, we're not.
Sorry.
No, we're not.
No.
No, we're not.
That's next week. Next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
I forget.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Can I come back next week? Please? Can somebody go on leave so I can come in?
Just come in anyway.
Just come in on it.
So we were talking about the attachment styles. We were talking about avoidance, right, Dr. Jerry?
Yes. Avoidant, dismissive attachment. So that's one. And then the other one is disorganized attachment. I'm saving the best for last. So disorganized attachment has both traits of anxious and avoidant attachment styles, depending on their mood, depending on situation. So they are the most confusing. So they are the ones that kind of blow hot and cold. They want intimacy, yet they can pull away and can be really, really cold. So they don't. Sometimes if you ask them, they really don't know what they're feeling. So they just react. Usually for disorganized attachment styles, we see that they have, and when we dig, right, they have childhood trauma. So So for example, like those that have been abandoned or orphanages, or they have lost parents very tragically. So sometimes there's childhood trauma, abuse.
Oh.
If we look at abuse, so physical abuse, sexual abuse, family violence, they yearn so much for love, and they would come towards you. So if you have ever volunteered in a children's home before, you can see how the children swarm towards you, especially the little ones. But then you go another week, they can totally ignore you. So that's the blowing hot and cold, because they also don't know how to respond to you. They don't have that secure or safe person.
Yeah, it's not their fault though, but yeah.
Funny, right?
so
I mean, growing up as a kid, right? I think parents need to protect their children, because sometimes when something happens, it could be a small thing, but the child will be scarred for life.
Absolutely.
Right, Jerry?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you're drinking. Okay.
No, it is true. It's fine. I can drink. I can sip.
It's been proven. Glenn drives Jerry to drink.
Oh dear, now that sounds very wrong.
You don't even know what's in her flask there. It could be gin and soda.
I didn't say that.
It's coffee.
Okay. FD, you had a question? Okay, I tell you what, we have to go.
Let's go back.
On the Big Show TV, okay? FD's got a question for Dr. Jerry. Meantime, here's Ed Sheeran, the guy with the glass eye. Photograph on Kiss 92. I always say that.
Does he
but
really have a glass eye?
It looks like he has a glass eye.
He claims
No,
that.
he's just squint.
He's squint.
He's just got
Exactly.
a squint.
I think it's his left eye. Right?
So, Jerry, the question I have is, I'm the oldest person in this room. I'm the oldest person in many rooms.
Really?
What happened to the good old days of you get to know a person, you understand what the person's about, you get into a relationship, you accept them for who they are, and you work at it. But now, so much of relationships seem to be about me.
If you have no kids, then it'll be me.
No.
Or even
It
after.
should
It's
always
true.
be about us.
And that's the thing about relationships, right? It can change at any time. You know what I mean? It's like people change. If you're lucky, okay, nobody changes.
But you evolve with the relationship.
You're a lot
you
easier
know-
said than done, bro.
I don't get it. Why people now don't seem to be able to evolve as the relationship evolves. We need to understand that what you go through when you're dating, what you go through when you're first married, what you go through after the first child and the second, it changes.
They're afraid of being irrelevant.
I will speak up for the young people today.
Yeah.
So it's not that they don't want to work on the us. It's now that they have so much resources and they can educate themselves, they want to do it better. So that's why we are sharing all the information. So it's not because I want to find out all these categories so that I can disengage from the relationship, or I can excuse myself from the relationship. I hear many of them wanting to find out because they want to fine-tune the relationship. They know that if they're uncomfortable, there is a resource out there. But in the past, the only resource is, your next door neighbor, or, people in your office that you can chat with, or maybe if you don't chat, you're left to your own imagination and whatever that you have learned growing up. So the information was limited. So it's not for the lack of trying. So I think with each generation, they do try. For the current generation, they try with all the information that is out there available for them, which I really commend them on. Just that sometimes they analyze and overanalyze. So maybe we shouldn't overanalyze.
But is this generation, the new generation, do you think they are the ones who actually know what they want and what they like? Because sometimes I observe them and they do come across like that.
Yeah.
And it's a result of knowing what they want and what they like, they are non-committal.
Yeah.
Not as committed as everyone. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No one is saying there's anything
Look at
wrong
me,
with
how
it.
many times have I been divorced already? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not saying that this applies to everyone, but you know, if I were to turn back time, right, and okay, maybe not turn back time, but be in this generation. Let's say I'm a Gen Zer and all that. I probably would never get married. No, why? When okay, let's say I'm successful, right? I have everything. I just want to enjoy myself. I want to have as many friends as I want. I want, I want as many friends and benefits as I can get. Just enjoy every moment of my life. Do anything I want, anytime I like.
So in other
Although
words,
I'm doing
you
that
would
now, so
change your life if you could live it again.
I wouldn't say like, my life right now is rigid or anything like that. What I mean is from the perspective of a Gen Zer. Okay? I understand if they choose that lifestyle. Because what? I mean, everything now for them is expensive anyway, right? Owning a car, owning a home.
Yeah.
So why do
Why?
I want to burden myself some more by starting a family and having an even bigger burden? You know what I mean? I might as well just look after myself.
I quite agree with that, actually. I feel like life now has become a lot more catalogued into many different categories, whereas in the past it was more of this or that. You know, you marry or you don't marry, you
Correct.
take or you don't take. Whereas now, like we were talking about different types of attachment and different types of relationships as well. You had kinship, you had situationship, and a few others, right? Like you've got these are all categories where people can now go, I want, I don't want, and these options make life, I think, very very much different for people. But does that change the kind of attachment style you might have?
The attachment style still continues because it doesn't just start in adulthood. It starts from when you are a child. Yeah, so the parent-child relationship and how it forms, and later on, can we change it? Yes, but it comes from your childhood. But it's interesting what you are talking about. So I'm going to just shoot the question to Cheyenne. I mean, you heard all of them talking about finding out all these categories so that we don't commit or so that we don't need to commit. Is that true?
I don't think it's out of a desire not to commit. More so, it's like you feel like why are these patterns repeating in different relationships in my lives, or like why do I keep going back to the same kind of person? They may not give me what I want, but I still keep going back anyway. So why do I behave in that way? Like that is typically the reason why I think a lot of my peers and I are interested in like adult attachment styles.
Yeah. And that's why Taylor Swift is so successful as well, because she writes, songs about these
Exactly
relationships
that.
and these kinds of relationships.
Correct. I think what Cheyenne says is very, very important because her generation really embodies counseling, therapy, and they are not trying to deny anything, or they're not trying to run away from anything. They're trying to figure out why they are behaving in a certain way. So we hear Cheyenne say the pattern repeats from one relationship to the other, which I'm so proud of her saying that, because that's exactly what we want to break. I'm uncomfortable in this relationship. I'm uncomfortable in another relationship. What is going on with me? And that's why they want to break that pattern, and they're looking for a resource to help them to break the pattern. So that's when they start looking for categories, so that with the category, hopefully they can find the solution to break that pattern.
Yep.
So hopefully that answers, FD, your question. They're not running away.
It's interesting because, like, when I was growing up, right, you always had the girls who liked the bad boys.
Yeah.
The girls that always dated the bad boys. But they never married a bad boy. They married mommy's boy.
Yeah, actually, huh?
They always married
Yeah.
mommy's boy. They dated every bad boy they could lay their hands on, but they never married him. It's interesting. So it's almost like it's almost like it's a learning experience. You said, what struck me was you said a lot of this goes back to what you did at childhood. And I'm just thinking of my own marriage, right? My mom and dad split up. And what you just said reminded me of something, because when they split up, I said to myself, I am never going to do this.
And then,
I will never let this happen. Right? And it happened in my first marriage. And in the second marriage, I have worked double time
right.
to make sure it doesn't happen. And it's because of what happened to me when I was 16.
Yep. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
I'm not working on this marriage so hard because of what happened in my first marriage. I'm working on it because of what happened when I was 16.
Right.
I
Correct.
don't want to turn into my father.
Right. But you see, I mean, is that fair for yourself? You know what I mean?
That's an interesting question. It's a question I've not asked
my
myself.
parents never split up. My parents were together. So I don't know what happened to me. Right. But but the thing here is that I will not, I'm not saying I don't work hard, you know, in the relationship, but I kind of like, I know when to cut my losses. That's the thing. Which is not a good thing to say, actually, but yeah. I can only take so much. Okay, stand by. We're going to go for a... Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Kyle, the Flying Dutchman, Cheyenne, and Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. Good morning, Jerry.
My name has a certain weird inflection when you say it.
Really? Like Dr. Geraldine Tan.
The one and
From
only.
the therapy room, yeah. Kyle does it better, though. He's got more of an announcer voice than me, actually. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about attachments today, relationships,
We are. So yes, on to the last attachment style, which is the anxious or ambivalent attachment style. And these are the ones that many people love to ask about, love to read about. And these are the people that fear abandonment. So they are extremely clingy. They are the ones that would text you incessantly to ask you where you are, you know, can report your whereabouts, what you eat today. They cannot stand the thought of not having the partner with them, and they say all you have to do is just text me, all you have to do is just, you know, call me. Is it so difficult? So they need a lot of that reassurance. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? So they are the ones that would badger you for this sort of answers. And, you know, the partner will say, how many times do you want me to say? You know, after the third time, it doesn't mean anything at all, but they will still be asking for reassurance. They'll still be asking, are they important? Are they loved? Where are you? So yeah, these are the type of people that sometimes are quite draining.
What makes these people develop an attribute like that? What makes a person an anxious attacher, if that makes sense?
No.
So you heard me say the fear of abandonment. So they could have many patterns of being left alone or being abandoned, or you know. So perhaps, you know, some of the cases we have would be one parent would, you know, the parents divorce and then one parent leaves, and you know the other parent has passed on, and they are passed from one person to another person. So they are afraid of being left alone.
Right. Or it could be someone who has been cheated on.
Yeah,
You know,
emotional
previously
abandonment.
or
Yeah.
repeatedly
Yeah.
cheated on by his or her, you know, past girlfriend, boyfriend, you know, whatever. So it's come to a point where now, you know, they feel like, oh no, it's going to happen again.
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
They see a pattern.
Yeah.
I imagine this feeling really special at the start, like, oh, you're always asking where I am, am, or you're checking on me, and oh, Glenn, do you love me? Yes. Do you love me? Yes. Wow, so sweet. But after a while, I can imagine it being very annoying.
It's taxing.
Yeah.
It's very taxing.
Because you have to report strength all the time,
Yeah. So I think maybe the other person also has to assure, like his or her partner, if he realizes that his partner is like that, try to help her heal or help him heal in that sense. And if after trying the person is still like that, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Then go and see Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
Yes.
Jerry, earlier you mentioned that people are trying to get the relationships right. They're trying to fine tune it because there's so many resources out there. Isn't the best resource the person sitting opposite you and having a conversation to understand that person?
So communication is one of the tips that we and one of the things that we would want them to do. However, what happens if we have one that is anxious attachment and the other one avoidant attachment? So we can have different styles, right, in a relationship. So you're going to have one that is latching on and the other one removing themselves. Because they shut down. They shut down. So the avoidant would shut down, if there is too much emotion, they get overwhelmed by the emotion. And the anxious attachment person, or the person that is very anxious, would then start to overanalyze. If you're cold to me, does it mean that you're going to like throw in a divorce letter, or do you have someone outside? And then trust issues starts to build up, and they can have a conversation. So the other person that is avoidant can say, no, I already told you. And from their point of view, it is, I've made a statement, I've stated a fact, accept it, function, and that's it. But the one that is anxious cannot accept it because they need more information. So there's a mismatch of expectations. There's a mismatch of different styles there.
It's just clearly a mismatch. I would advise divorce for that one, for sure. Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show right now. Here's Pink, Just Like Fire on Kiss 92. I meant the Big Show TV, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to follow up with that? I said divorce. I mean, it's so hard, Jerry. I mean, that particular situation you just mentioned, right? It's like, how do you rectify that issue? It sounds like a disaster. Yeah.
I think I want to pick up on what FD said, right? A relationship can be difficult. A pattern of behavior can be difficult. It doesn't mean that the person is bad or the relationship is bad. Because we very quickly jump into another category and say that, it's a toxic relationship. We need to cut our losses. But it doesn't mean that the person is purposefully being toxic. So we are hoping that we can give everybody a chance, to get to know themselves and to get to know each other. And then, we can put in that effort that FD is talking about in the modern way.
But what can we actually do to first? Not everyone out there is going to know, this is your attachment style. It's hard to, it's number one, I think it's hard to even identify it.
Yeah.
But above and beyond that, how do you find common ground and, circumvent that whole thing and come to a consensus and find peace?
Because it sounds so hard to live like that.
Yeah. Very chim, very chim.
Yeah.
How like that?
So we already mentioned about communicating, so communicating our needs. So of course, Carl, you were talking about love languages, right?
Yeah.
So one of the methods could be looking at love languages, because those are very concrete ways of doing things or expressing, your love. So communicate. importantly for me would be identifying your emotions. So you heard us mention, the anxious attachment style. So anxiety is prevalent in that sort of attachment style. Avoidant, which means that you get overwhelmed with certain emotions. What are they that causes you to shut down? So we want to be able to identify the emotions, because an intimate relationship will ignite all these different emotions within the self. You're so close to the person. The person cannot not ignite anything. It will definitely ignite something, And the last one is being able to draw the boundary for yourself and draw the boundary for the other person.
Dr. Jerry, I just want to skew this a little bit, okay? Because FD mentioned something earlier on about being 16 years old. And me going to be a father now, soon. What kind of tools should I have to ensure that my daughter in future has a secure attachment style?
Okay.
Because
question.
it starts from young, right?
Good question.
Yes. So for the parents out there, where attachment actually, what it actually stems from is creating that safe space for the child. So we always say that the parent is supposed to be the safe space, safe person. So where I had wanted to go was also to talk about parenting styles today, but then I got completely derailed by the other school of thought. But if we look at parenting, and this is what one of my professors illustrated to me, it's like a hand. And this is the safe space for the child to hold. So that warm embrace that Carl you illustrated for us, it's this handhold. It goes both ways. So how then do we be that safe person for our children? One of the key points would be consistency. Consistently, being firm yet loving. So we had spoken about the 4 parenting styles: the authoritarian, authoritative, the permissive, and the permissive, I think. So we want to strive to be like the authoritative, firm with boundaries, yet loving. Not militant style, like authoritarian, where my way is the only way and your way is no way at all. Or the other one that is permissive, it means the child's way and not the parent's way.
Right.
Of course, a neglectful parent would be, I can't be bothered at all, so I'll just leave you be. So the 4 different styles. Okay.
Usually parents, when they feel tired, really, that's exactly what they'll say. I don't care already.
Go and do it. Go la.
Well, they will still ensure that the children are safe.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think parents need to lead by example as well, because the kids are always looking, to the parents. And so that's important, I guess.
And last week we talked about CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, because very often for these types of attachment style, there is a lot of negative thoughts. So, using CBT to help to work on the negative thoughts would be very, very useful.
You came out with CBT for FD, right? You were saying, I think. Remember? FD wasn't around last week.
Yeah, FD wasn't around.
Cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT.
I think so. I think it was something you brought up like the previous week or something, and then Jerry decided to touch on it. But
because he was talking about negative thoughts and how do we deal with negative thoughts. So that's why we came up with CBT for negative thoughts last week.
See? So Jerry was actually wanting to present it, but you went to Spain. Should have not gone to Spain. Just
but nobody told me. I would have cancelled the trip.
There. Okay, that's fair. He would have cancelled the trip.
I don't think so. Spain's much
I think
better.
you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, we've got one more talk set, okay? So we've got like a minute. We'll go back on air one last time. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, so we might as well decide now. So next week, we're going to be talking about sexless marriages. I think that's going to be
Yeah.
so
I think it is
so
important,
sensitive, though.
but I think it's important because whether people want to admit it or not,
Yeah.
it is rampant here, I believe.
It's so easy to slip into that, let's say,
Yeah.
after many, many years
Yeah.
of marriage.
Absolutely.
But bro, is it just sex or is it intimacy first?
Sex lah.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Sex,
on your
intimacy are the
side.
same.
Yeah.
No.
The more exciting, the better. She needs to put on the uniform and all that. Just spice things up lah, a bit.
And then you are the mailman.
I'm open to anything.
Cheyenne,
He's the pool guy. He's the pool guy.
Look, I'm serious. It's like,
Are we
and
on
I've
the TV
a
or
way
on
for
radio?
couples to not slip into the sexless marriage thing. Okay,
Okay, we'll talk about it next week.
Tate McRae with Greedy right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. Shh. Don't tell anyone what we were talking about off air.
Okay,
That was
okay,
like
okay.
off air on the Big Show TV.
yeah.
Big Show
okay.
TV.
Now it's like, okay, let's do this properly.
And that's why you should also tune in to the Big Show TV.
Oh no! Oh yes, yes. All right, our guest for today is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room, and we're kind of like wrapping up right now. It's been a very interesting,
been very interesting.
session on Jerry's couch. Yes. So
When it comes after whatever that you were discussing, it sounds so bad. No, it really just sounds bad.
if I jump on your couch, do I need to take off my shoes? Tom
Please
Cruise
don't take off
didn't
anything.
when he jumped on Oprah's couch. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, Jerry. So it's a wrap.
Wrapping
Any
it up.
last
Sum it
words?
up first, Jerry.
Yes. Sorry? The quote,
Yes.
I suppose. So one of something that I love to read is The Lost Boy. Actually, it's called A Child Called It. It's about abuse, and he's got some more sequels to it.
Wait, there was a movie, right? The Lost Boy is about vampires.
That's Lost Boys.
No. This is about abuse, about
it's different.
child abuse, and how he got out of it. So Dave Pelzer is actually the author, and very brave of him to write about his story. So one of the things that he said is, when you please others in hopes of being accepted, you lose your self-worth in the process.
Damn straight.
Which
Damn
means
straight.
don't suck up. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. He who pleases all is never at ease.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Dr. Jerry.
You say that you,
Good
but
one.
then you do that. But I see you trying to please everybody. You know.
Like I said, it's
He's
very,
learning.
very
He's
true.
learning.
Yeah.
This year's
very-
goals, he's trying
Yeah.
to
Right.
work on it.
Yeah.
But actually, it's all right as well. I mean, it's sometimes it's a sincere thing you try, but
But I'll tell you, it's not good for yourself. It's not good for yourself.
all right. But
No.
I like that quote. A
Yeah,
lot.
it's a great quote, Jerry.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you.
I'll see all of you. I'll think about the sexless marriage thing.
Right?
Bye.
Okay, I'll
Come
text
on.
you, and we'll see whether we can work something out or not. If not, if it's too, if it's going to be too awkward, then
Yeah. Let me know.
yeah.
Either way, I'll try to come
you come
next,
in.
next
You want
Tuesday.
to sit in on the
Would love
session?
to, I'd love to.
So interesting.
This kind of thing I'm in, man.
Okay, Jerry, I'll see you on your couch this afternoon.
What?
Bye.
No, okay, yes, she didn't say no. Okay, bye.